નમસ્કાર, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી. સ્ટેન્ડર્ડ 8th, સબ્જેક્ટ સાયન્સ, ચેપ્ટર 1, crop production and management. Dear students, today we will discuss protection from the weeds. So what do you mean by weeds? Unwanted plants or undesirable plants are called as weeds. Bujo and Pehli went to a nearby wheat field and saw that there were some other plants in the field. Some other plants. In a field, many other undesirable plants grow naturally along with the desirable crops, along with the crop. And these undesirable plants are called as weeds. Okay. Now, the removal of weed is called weeding. So, what is weeding? The removal of the weeds is called as weeding. Then, why weeding is very essential? Weeding is very necessary since the weeds competes with the crop plants for water, nutrients, space and light. Thus, they affect the growth of the crops. So, along with the main crop, weeds are also growing. They will take water, nutrients, space and light. So, that is why that will affect the growth of the crop. Some weeds interfering even in the harvesting, gathering the ripened crop. Along with them, they will mix up. And you know that then after eating the animals or human beings, that will be poisonous for both of them. So that is why weeding is very essential. Farmers adopt many ways to remove weeds. Farmers are choosing the ways to remove the weeds and control their growth also. The first method, see what are the methods farmers use for weeding? So first one is tilling. Before sowing the crops helps in uprooting and killing the weeds. So tilling, they have to go for digging the soil, digging the field. So what will happen? The plants will uproot and unnecessary weed will be removing them, which may then ride up and get mixed with the soil. Okay. Now, the best time for the removal of weeds is before they produce the flowers and seeds. See, before they produce flowers and seeds. Before they produce flowers and seeds. This is the one way of removing the weeds. Second way is the manual removing. Includes by hands. Physical remove by weeds or uprooting and cutting them close to the ground. You have to take out them or you have to cut them close to the ground from time to time. So this is manual, second way. This is also done with the help of kurpi nowadays. Kurpi also and seed drill also. See, I will show you now this one. See this one. The kurpi, this one. Or seed drill. So this one, seed drill. Okay, like this way you can remove the weeds. Then next one is weeds are controlled by using third way. Weeds are controlled by using the certain chemicals. So that is called as weedicides. What do you mean by weedicides? Certain chemicals are using to remove the weeds. So like this way, three ways. One is tilling and second one is manual and third one is weedicides. like 2,4-D chemicals. The name is given 2,4-D. And these are sprayed in the fields to kill the weeds. The weedicides are diluted with water. Sometimes you know that when the doctors are giving medicine to us, doctor will describe or prescribe us 1 spoon of medicine and 2 spoon of water. So in this way dilutes. You have to concentration you have to make down to the extent required and sprayed with the fields with a sprayer. So dilute the chemicals with the dilute with the water and they are spraying. See the spraying here given how these are spraying. See like this way how they are spraying this one. See now like this. This is the way of spraying. And here storing the medicines and with the help of the tube they are spraying. Now, as already mentioned, the weedicides are sprayed during the vegetative growth. Vegetative growth means, see the plants, fruits, and here shoots, and here flowers. So these are all vegetative growth of weeds before flowering and seed formation. So weedicides should be sprayed during the vegetative growth before the flowering and seed formation. Spraying of weedicides, spraying of the weedicides may affect the health of the farmers. See, spraying of weedicides, it will affect the health of the farmers. So that is why they should use these chemicals very carefully. They should cover their nose, mouth with a piece of cloth during the spraying of these chemicals. So that is why farmers' work is hard work. They have to protect. See, they are spraying medicines. In this way, their work is a very hard work, not a good work. So that is why, but they are producing crops to the peoples. They are taking the risk. So that is why we have to salute the farmers. They are our backbone for us. Okay. Now, what is harvesting? What is harvesting? Harvesting of a crop is an important task. The cutting of the crop after it's mature is called as harvesting. Cutting of crop after it's mature. So this is called as harvesting. In harvesting, crops are pulled out. Crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground. It usually takes 3 to 4 months for the cereal crops like wheat, maize, for this. You know that farmers are growing variety of crops. So crop to crops, durations will be more or less. Some crops take 4 months, some crops take 6 months, some crops take mature even after the year. So like this way, duration will be different from crop to crop. Harvesting in our country is either done by sickle or by the machine called harvester. So two ways, either by the sickle or by the harvester. In the harvested crop, the grain seeds need to be separated. The grain seeds need to be separated from the chaff. This process is called as threshing. What is threshing? What do you mean by threshing? The separation of the grain from the chaff is called as threshing. And this is carried out with the help of the machine called combine, which in fact a combine harvester and thresher. This is a modern machine. See the modern machine. In this both harvester as well as thresher also will be there. Okay. Now, after harvesting, sometimes stubs are left in the field. Some stubs, a piece of certain small materials, dried grass, and like this, which are burnt by the farmers. Pelly got worried. She knows that this causes pollution. It may also catch us fire nearby the crops gathered, so damaging the crops lying in the fields. Farmers with small holdings of land do the separation of the grain from the chaff by winnowing. So here, what is winnowing? Farmers separate the grain from the chaff. It's called as winnowing. See, I will show this winnowing process now. See the winnowing now. See, this is threshing. This one is threshing. And this one is winnowing. See the mixture by wind and by blowing the air. So this one is a winnowing process. This one is winnowing. Okay. Now, next one. Storage. And before that, here some harvest festivals. After 3 or 4 months of hard work, the day of the harvest comes the day of the harvesting, cutting, gathering the ripened crop. The sight of the golden fields of standing the crop laden with the heavy grains fills the hearts of the farmers with joy and a sense of well-being. So farmers those times where they are very happy. The efforts of the fast season have borne fruit, and it is the time to relax and enjoy a little them. The period of harvest is thus a great of joy and happiness in all parts of the world, in all parts of the India. Men and women celebrate it with great enthusiasm, great joy. Special festivals associated with the harvest. Sometimes asking the question, what are the special festivals associated with the harvest? So we are saying Pongal, celebrated by Tamil, Baisakhi, Sikkim, Holi and Diwali you are knowing, Nabanya, celebrated by Bengali, Bihu, celebrated by Assam. So like this way, the festivals are celebrated with great joy after harvesting. Now we move on to storage. Storage of food grains. See, after the harvesting, storage. It is also a very important task. It is also important work. If the grains are to be kept for a longer time, they should be safe from the moisture, insects, rats, and microorganisms. These are all the enemy of the crops. They will destroy them. The fresh crop has more moisture. If freshly harvested grains are stored without drying, they may get spoiled, attacked by the organisms, and also losing their germination. So sometimes how you will have to protect the grains or seeds, then you have to say like this. You should dry them. Okay. Then hence before storing them, the grains are properly dried in the sun to reduce the moisture in them. This prevents the attack of insects, pests, bacteria and fungi, insect pests. Farmers store the seeds, farmers store the crops or the grains in the jute bags or metallic bins. However, large scale storage of grains done in silos and granaries. See the silos and granaries. Look here now. See this one. Silos vertical box or vertical bins that is used for storage the grains. See this one silos and this one is granaries. See, look that this one. This one is granaries. To protect them from pests like rats, insects. Now, dried neem leaves are also using for storing the food grains at home. For storing the large quantities of grains in the big godowns, big hall, big rooms, special chemical treatment are required to protect them from the pests and microorganisms. Okay. Now next one, food from the animals. So you know that we are getting the food from animals. For example, milk we are getting cow, buffalo, she goat and she camel. And we will take eggs, we are getting from the hen. And we will get the meat from the fish. So like this way we are getting food from the animals. Then, like plants, animals are also provide us food with different kinds of food. Many people in the living coastal areas consume the fish as a major part of their diet for their food. In the previous classes, we have learnt about the food that we are obtained from the plants. We have just seen that the process of the crop production involves a number of steps like selection of the seeds, sowing, like this. Similarly, animals reared means palan poshan at home or in the farms, have to be provided with proper food, proper shelter, proper care. When this is done on a large scale, it is called as animal husbandry. The question arises, what do you mean by animal husbandry? The rearing of animals with proper care, proper shelter, proper food, it is called as animal husbandry. Now here this one, fish is good for the health. We get cod liver oil from the fish. Cod liver oil we are getting the fish, and this is rich in vitamin D. So remember this one also. Okay, dear students. So we have completed the textual explanation. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.